Today we're going for a ride into the countryside for a pub lunch in a quintessential British pub on two amazing classic motorcycles. And in the video we're going to discuss not only the bikes in front of us, but whether we would buy these over a classic 650 from Royal Enfield that's just been released.
Yeah.
Where are we?
We are at the Blue Ball in Braunston in Rutland, and this is a beautiful country pub, very, very nice, and they do a sort of blend of traditional pub food and Indian because the owners are Indian. So you've got a nice mix of different types of food, but we love Indian food, but we're having traditional food today, aren't we? English.
Traditional English pub food, yeah. You've been here before, haven't you? I haven't been here before. It's absolutely gorgeous. Lovely village. And the church bells ringing.
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, yeah, only one bell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely old village. The countryside around it's stunning. It's very equestrian, isn't it? There's lots of horses.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So I need to explore more. But we're on these two incredible motorcycles. I mean, you've got the Honda CB550 Four from 1975 and this 1968 Triumph Daytona 500. And I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous looking, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. They're both absolutely stunning, but I think the Triumph just takes the limelight a bit because it's just a work of art, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to do a separate video about the Triumph and this Honda one's combined. But both these motorcycles can be yours. If you go to the link in our description, you can win these motorcycles. I think it's £2.99 for the Triumph and £3.99 for the Honda. So get yourself onto our link and find out how you can win it, because they are worth £2.99 or £3.99, aren't they?
Yeah.
My goodness me, they're incredible. Which one do you prefer of the two?
I prefer the Triumph because it's got oodles of character,
yes,
and it sounds fantastic. And this is a full nut and bolt restored one, so it literally looks like it came just right out of the factory. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah,
it was apparently restored by a Formula One mechanic.
Really?
So he's pretty good with the spanner, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
It shows, doesn't it?
Gosh.
Whereas the Honda is I think it's been lightly restored, and that looks pretty new too.
Yeah, it looks immaculate.
It's
really
quite a big bike, actually. It's not. It's,
in comparison.
It's smooth. I think
Very
it's got some
smooth.
character. It's very nice.
Yeah.
You've got the 4 exhaust pipes, a beautiful looking engine, carburettors, proper mud guards, front and rear, lovely bench seat, nice and padded, beautiful looking tank. The handlebars are quite high and wide. It feels like a big bike. You've got these lovely twin analog dials and a little light dash underneath. Electric start. Has it got a kickstart as well?
It's got a kickstart as well.
So if your battery goes flat, you can kickstart as well.
And it's got a very neat feature when you indicate that it beeps at you. It beeps at you. Sounds almost like a construction van reversing, but it's so that you don't forget that you're indicating and you remember to cancel your signal. So I think that's a really cool little feature, and on a bike that's quite old, that's really innovative. So if you know of any other bikes that have that feature, do let us know in the comments below. But it sounds like a construction van reversing. So
you would think in today's health and safety obsessed world that they would have that on everything, wouldn't
yeah,
they?
don't mention it.
Don't mention it. Keep quiet.
Every bike will be beeping everywhere.
Everything.
That's all you'll hear. The Honda is very similar in a way to the previous Honda we had a few weeks ago, the CB550 Four. It doesn't really feel any more powerful. feels about the same, to be honest. And it's very smooth. It's just a very smooth bike. It feels like it could be a 2015 Honda. You wouldn't know the difference. Honestly, it's so smooth.
Yeah.
But for me, it does a little bit lack of soul, especially compared to the Triumph. That is just full of soul.
It's only a 500cc. It's still a twin though, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lovely engine. Those old Triumph engines are lovely. They're full of character. They sound amazing. And bikes didn't have to have so much sound deadening in those days, so they do sound better than modern bikes.
But then that one's really quiet, isn't it?
It is actually, surprisingly.
I think a lot of Japanese bikes were quite quiet. So, but maybe that's because they just had stricter laws in Japan.
Maybe.
And they just did it the same for all the exports as well.
But I think if you really rev it, you'll get more of a sound out of it.
Yeah.
Just looking at the figures on my bit of paper here, the Honda has got 50 horsepower, 5 gears. It's about 200 kilos, which is 440 pounds. And it will do 100 miles an hour, so you can be in the ton-up club with this motorcycle. Now we're just looking at the mileage on these bikes. The Honda's done 7,406 miles, and this Triumph T100T has done 2,655. And just looking at this beautiful analogue 2 dials here, oh, they're stunning. You've got a little amp meter there.
Gorgeous.
I don't know if I was on shot there. Hopefully you could hear me rather than see me. We've got a little peak look like the Royal Enfield Classics have. I like that, don't you? That's stylish. I mean,
nice.
bikes were much more stylish back in time, much more so than now when we have these plastic things. If you follow the channel, you'll know we don't really like modern bikes style-wise, do we? Or any wise. I mean, their engines are bland, they're fast, they're reliable, but they look awful, and I don't know why anyone would buy one. I really cannot see the attraction.
No, I can't. Apart from obviously modern classics.
Modern. I mean, that's what we do on this channel, modern classics. And occasionally we dip in, like today, into old proper classics.
Yeah. But if you think about it, a modern Royal Enfield 650 has got more character than that Honda, and there's surprisingly the same amount of power, but that doesn't feel like it's got 50 horsepower. Perhaps it's lost a bit over time.
Maybe.
They do lose a bit of power.
I'd imagine you really do need to be up in the revs to really feel that one.
Yeah.
We don't want to thrash it, obviously. It's not our motorcycle, and as we said, you can win it just by going to the link in our description.
Blow it up before the new owner gets.
So we're treating them very respectfully. The Honda rides like a normal bike. The gears are on the left, brake on the right. The old Triumph has got the gear shifter on the right and the brake on the left. So you've really got to concentrate when you're riding. Think, where's the brake? Where's the brake? Because just in case, so you don't want to go crazy till you're really used to it, do you?
No.
But I do find I'm
the
getting
brakes
used
are okay.
to it quite quickly.
They're actually all right in this.
They're
bike.
not bad brakes at all, are
They're
they?
not really any much worse than the Honda, and that's got a disc on the front.
Yeah.
Whereas this is drum brakes front and back, but they're actually quite good.
But drum brakes look a lot nicer, don't they?
They're stunning.
Modern disc brakes are ugly. Now, if there was a way, manufacturers, to disguise that awful looking disc, it would be lovely.
Drum looking,
yeah, make it look pretty.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this
Cover it up.
everything just is designed in horrendous proportions and ugly. Everything's ugly.
We've said this before though, and definitely when you look at the Japanese old bikes like this Honda, look at it, it's stunning. Why don't they make, I mean obviously they now make the CB550, but if they made more that looked like this, I mean, it would be a completely, I mean, when you look at the CB1100 RS, that looks like this, doesn't it? That's basically a evolution of that.
Yeah, and that
was lovely.
The nicest bike Honda did until they dropped it here in the UK and I think Europe too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we always assume it might be for emissions reasons, but it may not be that. It may just be that it's haven't sold.
Yeah.
But you need to put motorcycles in front of the right people for them to want to buy them. If you were, say, given a choice then today, if money wasn't any object, you could have that Honda or the new Royal Enfield Classic 650. Which would you have? I'd
have the Classic 650. Definitely, yeah. I just think it has more character.
It's the only bike though, isn't it? Well, Royal Enfields, most of the modern classic Royal Enfields, they're the only bikes that actually feel like an older bike. Yeah. And that's a good thing.
It's good, yeah.
It's not a bad thing, is it?
No. But they're still refined in the sense that it's still you know, smooth and it all works properly. They're not like really lumpy and etc. But they've still got a bit of character, especially when you change the exhaust, etc. Then you really hear the true character because everything's stifled, you know, from factory, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but these bikes, I mean, the person who would want that would want something that's older and want something that not everyone has. And when you park it at a pub like we have today, people stop and look at it and say, wow, look at that lovely bike. And you get a lot of that, don't you? So that's a nice experience to have. And an older bike is more alive. You've got to deal with the carburetors and the choke and kickstarters and things like that. So there's a lot more to do. You're more involved in it. It took us a while to work out how to start the Triumph, didn't it?
Yeah. Once we figured out that we had the wrong switch on, we were right, weren't we?
Yeah, we had the petrol thing on. There was hardly any petrol, so we had to get it onto reserve. Which
you have to pull it out. It's not like a switch, which I've not seen before.
And we weren't sure what the switch on the handlebar did. It doesn't do anything, from what I can see. We must do something. We haven't worked out what yet. And then there's a choke on the handlebar, so we weren't sure which way that would go. But we worked it out in the end, and once you do get it right, it starts very easily.
First try every time. That, you know, really easy.
Yeah. So it's a gorgeous looking machine, both of them are.
Oh, stunning.
But I mean, proper mudguards that work and are pretty.
And same on the Honda. And the silhouette of both of these bikes is just, the lines are perfect. And they have pretty much got that right with the CB550, the new one. But, you know, the rear mudguard should look like that one.
But yeah, I mean,
and the front mudguard should look like that as well. And then it would be perfect.
Exactly. I mean, why? Tell us why. If you've got a motorbike and you've got a front mudguard that big, what's the appeal?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd like to know because a big mudguard covers the wheel. When you go out, we've been riding for an hour or two. We've got here to this pub, and the bike is spotless. If you had a little one, you'd get there and your engine would be covered in muck. So what looks better when you get somewhere?
Yeah.
Well,
it still looks beautiful anyway, doesn't it? It's stunning.
Yeah.
But also, I want to say this because I said I don't like the look of the analogue dial on the CB350, and I wish Honda designers, if you're watching this, take a look at some of the bikes from the 70s. Every dial on the Hondas were beautiful, so just make one that looks exactly like that, and then it'd be perfect.
I mean, if you had to, you could still make them look exactly the same with a digital sort of TFT insert like Royal Enfield do with the Himalayan and the Gorilla.
It's a digital dial, but it looks
like.
Yeah.
But you can make it look like that with them if you have to. Obviously, analog's always better. It's much more engaging and more alive.
But as that's the only digital screen I like out of any of them.
I'll tell you something that is interesting. On these old bikes, this part here, which on all new bikes is just a stuck-on plastic panel, this actually was an oil tank. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful shape, and that's where the oil is, and it looks lovely. And you've got room for things like that if you have twin shocks. Now, a lot of modern bikes, most of them have a monoshock underneath that centre part of the bike, which takes up the space for things that you need on the bike, like the battery and the electrics, blah blah blah. Whereas the twin shock gives you more space on the bike.
Cold.
I think twin shocks look lovely. What's that?
Tea's gone cold.
Was it? That's all right.
I left it for too long.
Want me to go for here or inside?
Oh, here, please, because
Yes,
we're wearing so many clothes, it will be too hot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice. Looking from the other side, the Honda engine's stunning.
It is,
Beautiful engine.
Yeah.
So is the Triumph, obviously.
Yeah, equally beautiful.
That shape of engine, though, I think it's my favourite look.
Yeah.
That sort of British motorcycle engine from the 60s, 60s, 50s, 60s, really.
Yeah, really.
This is 1968.
It's amazing.
This is 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
It's not that old, really, is it? Actually, quite
It's
young.
just
It's
a
not.
bit-
It's not that old at all.
Do you think?
Yeah. No, both of them got pillion pegs, so you can have a passenger on the back of these, which is useful, isn't it? The old seats used to be fatter, and they had more padding in them, and they were flat, and that works. You know, modern seats, even if they are benches, are very thin, aren't they? There's nothing in the padding.
Was it a law in the 60s that you had to have a number plate on the front? Because
Yeah, I don't know when it stopped, but yes, it used to be.
It looks nice though, doesn't it?
Mm.
You know, a nice old black and white number plate looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And in India, you have to have a front number plate, but it's like a thin plate that goes on the front. It doesn't, if anything, it adds to the bike. It's
right.
quite nice.
Yeah, if it's black and white, or black and silver. But these horrible, hideous yellow, massive things. I mean,
in
that's,
India, it's like dark green and white, isn't it? It's quite
it
nice.
might vary from state
But
to
it
state.
does, yeah, it does.
Yeah, and they're not so big, are they? This has got the old-fashioned ones because it's old. The back one's sort of an oval shape, like an
That's
Easter
nice,
egg.
isn't it?
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, lovely.
Oh, that looks
Thank
good.
you. Excellent.
Wow.
Cutleries and
Perfect.
salt and pepper in it.
Lovely.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Awesome. That looks good.
That looks really good.
Nice chips, look at that.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
Perfect.
Thanks. Oh, lovely.
Enjoy, guys.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much.
Thanks.
You can suit inside as well if you want, yeah?
Thank
oh,
you.
yes, okay. Yeah, we'll do a few
Appreciate
shots.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow.
That is good, isn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it?
That's so good.
It's nice. I've never seen chips like this.
No, they're
Absolutely
good.
incredible.
That sauce is like a spicy Indian chutney, which goes really well with the chips and everything.
God, this has got to be the best pub lunch we've had in a long time. Definitely come here. Blue Ball. Where are we? Braunston. In Rutland County, near Leicestershire. Not far from Oakham. Oh, come on your motorbike, plenty of parking. Perfect. Now, we've just moved on from lunch, and what a fantastic pub. Seriously, that lunch was amazing. One of the best pub lunches I've ever had. And the village I've passed by so many times and never ridden into, and it's a beautiful, quintessentially English village. So if you're on this sort of trail in the Rutland County near Leicestershire, well worth a visit. The roads here too are wonderful roads for riding, and when we say wonderful roads for riding, we mean they're very beautiful. We're not talking about riding fast and hard and speedy, because that's very dangerous, and there's lots of livestock, horses, blah blah blah. So we don't recommend that kind of riding. This channel's not about that. It's about going around on beautiful motorcycles like this. And don't forget, as soon as I finish talking and the video ends, go to the link in the description and click the link to win either of these bikes, and it's worth every penny for the punt. It genuinely is. And we're having a video, doing a video about this Triumph next, which will be ever so interesting. So make sure you watch that and all the other videos. See you next time on the next video.